Assalamualaikum and good evening to everyone. My name is Nur Azaria and I am the moderator for today's forum. So for today, we will have a discussion regarding social media. Is it good or is it bad? So in short, social media is a collective term used to describe any website or any applications that allow its users to communicate with each other, to create and share their contents, and also to view other people's content. So before we go further into today's discussion, I would like to introduce you to our panelists for today. So our first panelist is Shafini Amisha. She is a first year student at UiTM Campus Jasin. Our second panelist is Muhammad Akidi Putra. He is a lecturer also from UiTM Campus Jasin. Our third panelist for today is Muhammad Shahiran. He is a father and also a businessman. Our next panelist is Fakro Fauzan. He works as a teacher at SMK Methodist SES Ipoh. And our last panelist for today is Nur Shafika. She is a counselor at a public school. Now that we have known our panelists, without further ado, I would like to start today's discussion by asking our first panelist, Ms. Hafini. So, in your opinion, from the perspective of a student, does social media help your study?
Thank you, Ms. Moderator. Assalamualaikum and good evening to all the panelists and the audience. I am so glad to be one of the guests here today. As mentioned just now, my name is Shafini Amisha binti Zaidi and I am a student of Information System Engineering at UiTM Jasin. In my opinion, social media is really beneficial to the student, especially when it comes to their education. The fact that social media allow users to personalize how they engage and perceive with the web is the reason why it is so popular. Tools like Twitter and Instagram used to be almost mainly used to take a break from the academic. But now, social media is increasingly being used as a study tool, especially for today's tech-savvy students. According to a 2050 study conducted by McGraw-Hill, more than 70% of students think adaptive technology has helped them improve their grades. This is because social media empowers everyone, including parents, teachers, and students. It is an effective way to share information and build a community. Furthermore, social media can help students collaborate better. Students make social media buddies with their peers and are more likely to collaborate on assignment as a result. As students grow more linked to the schools and their peers, retention rates may increase. Many universities highlight the importance of group collaboration as a soft skill. Social media platform can assist students improve these skills by allowing them to have real-time meetings and collaborate on their assignments. Aside from that, social media may be used to organize learning resources. It can help students to keep course content organized and accessible. Finally, social media can help students in the discovery of additional information to support or enhance their basic education. Students may now seek for YouTube videos to supplement their study and share. They can also share information with their classmates using social media. As a result, social media does assist students in their studies. However, social media can also become a distraction for students. Students can get distracted and start using social media for their own purposes and not pay attention for educational content. It is hard for us to utilize social media for educational purposes only. Without proper discipline, social media can be a virus for students. Social media may be a great tool to improve how students learn. Before implementing social media in education, some preparation and thought processes are required so that the student can be a smart social media user.
Thank you, Ms. Shafini, for your opinion. I personally do agree that social media can be a good platform for students to share their information and build a community, as we all know it is very wide and it is accessible to everyone as well. Now, Mr. Akidi, what do you think are the other advantages of social media?
Assalamualaikum and hi. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to share some information about today's topic. And good evening to our Miss Moderator, Miss Azaria, and my fellow panelists. I'm also thankful to God for giving us such good health and lovely weather this evening. As you all know, engaging in various forms of social media has become a daily activity for most children and adolescents alike. Even newborn babies, such as Instagram famous artists' children, have their own Instagram managed by their own parents. And a large part of this generation's social and emotional development is occurring while on the internet and cell phones. All the time that children and teenagers spend on the web, and more specifically social media sites such as Facebook, Instagram, and so on, TikTok, takes time away from face-to-face communication and in-person activities. So let's move on to our main topic, the advantages of social media. I agree that many people see social media as having more downsides rather than upsides. It's like anything which can be used for both good and bad. Social media has also been proven as both negative and positive for the people. It is all about getting the usage and getting things done positively by using the power of social media. It is in the hands of the user to use to its advantage. I may be a bit biased when it comes to talking up the benefits of social media, but fortunately, you don't just have to take my word for it. So let's move on. First of all, worldwide connectivity. Social media has made the prospect of global connectivity just a click away. You can quickly search for people with a wide variety of interests. This provides personal benefit to the individual. Some of the ways you may use this ease of access to your advantage are to find love interests, job opportunities, and keep track of local and worldwide news. Furthermore, social media has a lot of benefits for the students and teachers alike, and also lecturers like me. So it is very easy to get education from others who are experts and professionals via social media. You can also follow anyone to learn from him or her and enhance your knowledge about any field, regardless of your location and education background. You can educate yourself without paying for it. But not all, but most skills and knowledge can be obtained for free if you look hard enough. Even as lecturer myself, I provide excellent study materials to my students from some of the experts I had found on GitHub and Instagram alike. On top of that, social media has now been one of the fastest and biggest income streams for people. Companies are in business to make money, and social media is very useful for those purposes because at its core, social media brings people together with similar interests. Then the platforms also make an excellent location for targeted marketing by local businesses. So, in my opinion, when you have a group of individuals with similar interests, you have a product that may help them solve a problem or something they need or want, then you can create a good ROI or return on investment by spending some targeted advertising dollars towards various demographics of social media users. That's also how social media works nowadays, because with tons of advertisements that cater to your interests to make you buy the products, like how Facebook and Instagram did. The benefit to the business of social media has been essential when the world experienced a pandemic that we have in COVID-19 now, and many businesses had to quickly move operations online to avoid bankruptcy. This has been proved to be a merit of social networking. I think I've covered the most notable advantages of the social media so far. And don't get me wrong, but there are plenty more advantages of social media out there. But as God wills it, time is not on my side. I thank the moderator once again for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Mr. Akidi, for your opinion. I do agree that social media comes with a lot of advantages, just like what you have mentioned earlier. But before that, you also mentioned that it comes with both pros and cons. And I do think that that's very important and it needs to be highlighted, because certain people, they only look at it one way, so it's either bad for you or it's good for you. But I think in order for us to be a responsible user, we need to acknowledge that it comes with both pros and cons so that we can balance it out. And of course, at the end of the day, I think it all depends on what we use social media for and how we manage ourselves using it. And as an adult, I don't think we have much of a problem handling ourselves using social media. But for kids, I think that's different because they are not capable of knowing what could possibly happen to them if they spend too much time on social media. So there's a study that have been carried out, and it is estimated that 27% of children who spend more than 3 hours on social media per day are more prone to exhibit a mental health problem such as social anxiety. And it seems that excessive usage of social networking sites can be problematic to young adults and children because their brain and social skills are still developing. So this shows how serious social media addiction can cause people, especially kids. So based on the parent perspective, this issue must be very concerning. So, Mr. Shahiran, what are the measures that you take in order to make sure that your kids are not addicted to social media?
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Shahiran Azizan. First and foremost, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me to share my knowledge and experience to benefit our forum today. Good morning also to Ms. Azaria and to all the beloved panel. Social media addiction is one of the most challenging problems that we need to overcome. As a father to my son, I am responsible to make sure that my lovely son will not become addicted to social media. This problem definitely bring a bad effect. That is why we as a parent need to avoid our son become addicted. This is why it's important to talk with the kids about how to use social media wisely to prevent them from spending too much time on testing new platform. What I can say is prevention is better than cure. As a parent, we can take action to avoid this problem from becoming worse. Parents play a vital role in making sure their kids grow well. Now I will show you what parents will do to their kids to avoid this problem. Firstly, we can forbid kids from spending too much time on social media and keep them away from a device. To keep them away from the device, we can engage them with outdoor activity and do an open discussion with them. With this method, we can easily change our children's interaction from start scrolling social media to doing some activities such as reading book, meeting with friends, playing outdoor and indoor games, spending a lot of time with our children and being understanding to what their needs and emotion will make them not feel isolated. It is the best way to help them overcome their addiction to social media. If you pay close attention to your children's behavior and make an effort to understand their feeling, you can easily help your children becoming their desire for social media. Besides that, we can also bring our children to communicate with real people. This way we can help our kids improve their communication skill, because in social media then they have a proper exposure to improve their communication skill. That's why children nowadays are having a problem with their speech, which has a speech delay. It is because their lack of communication skills. When we bring them to speak with another person, such as their friend, cousin and many more, it will help boost their confidence around people. Furthermore, they will not be addicted to social media because they have a more interaction communicating with people physically than visually. Last but not least, parents must set a good example for their children to follow. When playing social media with children, parents should avoid doing so because it encourages them to participate. Children look up to parents as a role model. So why won't we teach them bad habit? This social media will have negative impact on their development. As a result, we as a parent must set a good example for our children, because only we, not teacher or friend, have ability to influence them. Only the parents are present by their side at all times. In a nutshell, parents who have an authoritative approach tend to have a children who are less likely to be influenced by peer pressure to misbehave. These children are also likely to be influenced in a positive way. For example, they might be influenced to do well in schools.
Thank you, Sir Shahiran. As we all know how addictive social media could be, these measures could really be helpful, especially to the other parents who are struggling with their own kids being addicted to social media. Now, since we are talking about social media addictions among kids, I would like to hear Sir Fauzan's opinions on this matter. As stated by Mr. Shahiran, prevention is better than cure. So, do you agree that kids should be exposed to social media, or kids should use social media at the first place?
Thank you, Miss Azaria. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to all of you. Being connected to everything has disconnected us from ourselves. A famous quote known by many that can help motivate or perhaps provide awareness among our students. As our country faces a lot of challenges, changes, new norms and others due to the pandemic of COVID-19, me as a teacher and including all of the teachers have to monitor the academics of our students, whether they can go through with the online classes or are they just doing fine. From what I have witnessed in the online classes and in my opinion as a teacher, I would like to say that I agree that kids should use social media in the first place if they are using it for education purposes only. This is because the greatest benefit of social media is better communication or circulation. Student can associate with anybody, anytime through Kids Messenger, WhatsApp or any suitable application. They can utilize such platforms through their cell phone, tablet or PC, and students also can thread questions, make phone calls or video calls. If a student is stuck with their schoolwork, they can generally communicate with their friends or teachers so that they can solve their problems together. Social media learning also offers support with sharing reports, also for example via Google Dropbox, Google Docs and others. Besides that, students also can find concrete information online. As we know, there are various websites and social media networks which provide a lot of information and data that can be useful to students. In addition, through the social media news feeds, students can discover instructive and applicable websites they prefer to follow to be kept on track. So, depending on their interests, students can discover answers to their questions. Other than that, sites like Tumblr, Pinterest and others can offer youngsters inspiration or motivation so that they can use them for their school projects or useful critical thinking. Lastly, social media helps parents like Mr. Shahiran and other parents stay involved with their kids' learning. The school teachers can reach out to the parents on the off chance that they need to share their kids' progress via any secure online platforms that the institution uses. These are generally sure effects social media have on parents' communication with the school in order to find out about, share and notice their kids' academic and individual progress at school. This again is a positive effect social media have on students' performance, and I also believe that parents like Mr. Shahiran, including all other parents, can offer better educated scholarly help at home.
Thank you, Sir Fauzan. I agree with you that social media can be very helpful to children, especially if they are using it for good purposes like studying. But this also means that they need constant monitoring, as social media can cause a lot of distractions and eventually will lead to procrastinations, in my opinion. Now, moving on to our very last panelist, Miss Shafiqah. So, Miss Shafiqah, from your perspective as a counselor, can social media bring bad impacts to people?
Thank you, Ms. Azaria. Assalamualaikum and good evening to our moderator and the other panelists. I'd like to thank you in particular for inviting me and being willing to hear my thoughts on our topic today, which is social media. Is it good or bad? In my opinion as a counselor, yes. As we all know, social media has many advantages, but it can also have negative impacts on people. The same characteristic that make social media such a positive force in our lives also make it potentially dangerous. Anonymity, for example, allows for cyberbullying. This is especially troubling for teenagers as bullies can target and prey on vulnerable high school peers while avoiding personal responsibility. Approximately 10% of teenagers report being bullied on social media, and many other users receive offensive comments. Twitter, for example, can be a hotspot for spread the hurtful rumors, lies, and abuse, which can leave long-term emotional scars. Aside from that, social media can lead to self-absorption. Sharing endless selfie and your deepest thought on social media can lead to an unhealthy self-centeredness and distance you from real-life connection. As social media users occasionally post their whereabouts, their habits can be easily monitored, resulting in stalking. Furthermore, social media has a negative impact on isolation. Face-to-face interaction suffers as a result of social media. When we see a group of people sitting together, each engrossed in his or her own smartphone, constantly scrolling through their newsfeed, it is difficult not to be concerned. And studies show that irresponsible social media use can have that effect. According to a study conducted at the University of Pennsylvania, excessive use of Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram increases rather than decreases feeling of loneliness. In contrast, the study discovered that limiting our use of social media can make us feel less lonely and isolated, as well as improve our overall well-being. Last but not least, social media encourages us to compare ourselves to others. Hearing about others' happiness and success can exacerbate feelings of inferiority in people who struggle with self-esteem and insecurity. It is easy to forget that social media posts like magazine photos of a bruised model can present an idealized, heavily edited version of what's really going on. Furthermore, some people base their self-esteem on the number of Facebook friends they have or the number of likes, share, or other interaction they receive. Even if you are aware that the images you are seeing on social media has been manipulated, they can still make you feel insecure about your appearance or what is going on in your own life. Similarly, we are all aware that others tend to share only the high points of their life, rarely the low points that everyone goes through. But that doesn't make you feel any less envious or dissatisfied when you are scrolling through a friend's bruised photo of their tropical beach vacation or reading about their exciting new job promotion. What I can conclude is that social media is and will continue to be harmful unless something is done about it. Its influence over people is dangerous and often goes unnoticed. People should be concerned because if social media is not properly addressed and managed, it can lead to national and international issues.
Thank you, Ms. Shafiqah, for your opinion. It is best to say that despite having a lot of advantages, just like what we have discussed earlier in the forum, it also comes with a lot of disadvantages. Now, by hearing Ms. Shafiqah's opinion on this matter, it marks the end of our discussion for today. Finally, we have come to the end of the forum where we have discussed social media from various aspects and perspectives. And I hope through this forum you are able to gain new knowledge and make good use of social media. Because at the end of the day, social media is just a product of advanced technologies, and of course, it comes with both outcomes, good and bad. It all depends on how we want to view it, how we use it, and also what we're going to do with it. And everyone have their own rights to have their own opinion on this matter. So for my last word, I would like to thank my fellow panelists who kind enough to join me for today's forum and make it more lively. And also thank you for everyone who sticks around until the very end. I hope we will be able to meet again in our very next forum. Thank you and have a good day.